bear the responsibility.
Yeah, we'll certainly see if he can shoulder that burden or if we will not get that. And in fact, it will be Game Talents who can pull out victorious. As we've entered into pick and ban for game number 3. Snake have again ended up onto blue side, and Camille is the final ban. So first pick priority in game number 1, first pick priority in game number 2, and with Kled constantly banned away from Gimgoon, that means top lane is going to see some changes here.
Yeah, you might even see a change in jungle bans. No real reason for them now to continue this pace because SOFM is 100% going to be looking to pick it up in first phase if we saw any indication in the last one.
Yeah, it is now locked in, or excuse me, that Jace is locked in for Flandre with only 2 bans toward the jungle. We'll see if Game Talents decide to try to all in on this and go for a first round jungle to continue to keep SOFM down, or if they just cut their losses here and move on to the next big priority.
And it's weird to say that it's in Flandre's hand because you usually don't see Jace tops lately. It could very well be a Zatai pickup, and that's the best thing about being on blue side is that if you can get these flex picks, you can kind of cancel out the counter pick priority on Game Talents. Suddenly you got the flex pick in the Jace, depending on what Game Talents go for, they can't really just be reliant in saying, hey, you know what, we've counterpicked the matchup properly. In fact, they've gone for both their solo lanes here.
It is, in fact, Syndra and Rumble now locked in for Gimgoon and Republic. And it was those side lanes that were suffering from Game Talents in game number 2 that allowed the mobility of SOFM and Zatai to look for these picks. So very quick adaptation from Game Talents to sort of lock those down early, make sure they're nice and safe.
Yeah, you could tell it was priority for them to get the shove going, to get stronger lanes for themselves. They said, we want the shove. Now, it's harder because we saw how heavily it was in Jace's favor in game 1 in the matchup, so they're not really going to be getting it. Syndra is another question. Snake is going to be able to counterpick into that.
Ooh, this Kha'Zix would show their hand and mean that Jace is going mid and Gragas is going top.
There we go.
Yeah, wow. They had the opportunity to flex the Gragas and the Jace, but by showing that jungle so early.
No, I think the flexing has been complete for them. They know what lanes they're going into. It's safe for them to say, actually, this Gragas is top lane now. So you look towards Jace versus Syndra, and Jace should be fairly safe in that because he does build Hex Drinker, and he is fairly active across the map. Should be able to shove this in. Syndra will have some problems early on.
Yeah, as it is, Rek'Sai is the answer now, as it's all top jungle and mid picked on that first set of drafts. No supports, no AD carries, no nothing.
Yep.
And there we go. Banning away Karma. I wonder if Nami is again going to follow it out. Just target Crystal.
I feel like that's what they will do. It's just harder for them now because Crystal did see success on the Thresh pick. Maybe they ban out the Thresh and say, I want you on Nami so we can get a proper shove and not have to be completely, we don't have to get zoned away by your pick potential.
Now Snake, who do they target? Is it Shubin or Savoki? As they get towards their first set of this second draft, it is in fact towards Shubin. Caitlyn being banned away. He was starting to do some damage near the end of the game, but at that point it was just too little too late. The
game here is going to be really fun to watch because Snake is saying, hey, you know what? Do you really want to ban supports here? Do you want to ban an AD carry? Because right now, Game Talents, they get first pick. Yeah. And their first pick is either going to be an AD carry or support. They're not going to be able to get both. That's Snake. Snake can get both AD carry and support after the first pick up here. The Thresh is going to be locked down. So that is Nami likely going to be picked up in first pick either for Zubin, or if they don't go towards it, if they pick up an AD carry, then we might just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, they could go over to Snake.
Snake have the opportunity to effectively choose Game Talent's bottom lane with this next set. So Game Talents, who do they prioritize?
I forgot about her.
Is it Lulu for Savoki, or is it an AD carry for Shubin?
Has
There's
to be
not
Lulu.
that many left.
Lulu is high priority and it helped your composition. Snake here should just answer with a Nami and Caitlyn. Oh, I mean, Caitlyn got banned, actually, so it'd be a Nami and
Lucian?
Lucian, perhaps?
Braum Lucian?
What would Game Talents pick if that was the case?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of influence here. Looking at AD carries, of course, there's always Ezreal to fall back on. Nami, great for Crystal. He's gotten MVP on it before.
Sivir?
Yeah, that could work as well. Let's find out. Or a Kog'Maw.
Yeah, you have to take away the Kog'Maw.
If you've got the Gragas for a little bit of protection, Tristana could be making a comeback.
Don't do this to me, OQ.
Or just getting back into that
trolling with me.
The empowered auto attacks.
In my opinion, and I'm not just saying this because I'm the resident Lucian, go towards the Lucian pick. Lucian, Nami is incredible together. The trading pattern is going to be there. It shouldn't matter what game talents go towards. And they're already hovering the Kog'Maw. Because Kog'Maw Lulu is very strong. But the trading pattern should go in Lucian and Nami's favor.
Yeah, that lane is really risky as well. Especially when you've got Nami and Lucian harassing in from the side, SOFM's Kha'Zix ganking in, and certainly Flandre is going to be on top of his teleports as well.
He should pick it. There we go.
But yeah, it's Kog'Maw now locked in. Game talents putting their eggs into Shubin's basket.
It's going to be difficult for Snake to... Actually, Snake, yeah, I forgot about that's a J Smith, so this is easy for them to be able to pick apart the Kog'Maw. Once they gain control of mid lane, you even have Gragas to be able to just bop into your team. Game talents have a tall task at hand here at being able to protect Kog'Maw in the laning phase. Not even in the game. Once the game goes on, it's going to be a little easier for them. But in the laning phase, this man's going to have a hard time.
Oh, yeah. He certainly will. We'll actually have to see if Snake actually elects to extend the laning phase so they can try to bop that Kog'Maw down even further down a rung of the ladder. As our final champ select is locked in, we've got our rosters. You can see Savoki and Crystal, the two supports, as the coaches shake hands and we prepare to load onto the Rift for our final match of the evening. It's Snake versus Game Talents.
And pick ban once you get to second phase, especially since both of those picks were shared. AD carry and support, seeing that mind game come across is always fun to see. Just to see how large the champion pool is for both these players. Specifically for Savoki, Savoki has been around supporting AD carries before, protecting them, babysitting them. Lulu and Kog'Maw is something he's seen before. Lulu Jinx is something he's seen before. So this is down his wheelhouse.
Yeah, we'll see if he finds success. Zatai, you can see, bopping up and down with a smile on his face. He is ready. After Syndra in game number 1, this time around, he's going to get to show us his Jace in the mid lane against Syndra. Certainly going to be looking to get some large shock blasts across the face of Republic. As now, everybody is ready and focused, except for the God Goon. He's got his eyes on you.
Oh, that's the best thing about this. Everybody's looking at each other, and then God Goon's just looking at us saying, you know how it's going to turn out.
He just wants to make sure you know. Because he knows. But do you know?
Yeah, watch this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something.
Keep your eyes right here because we have loaded onto the Rift for our final match of the evening. It's Snake versus Game Talents. And with a Protect the Kog'Maw with that Lulu and a little bit of Syndra on top of it, taking off against Snake.
It's game 3. Now, I feel like we've seen a few Kog'Maw compositions here. Not in the right meta. We've seen it in 7.4. Now,
but this is 7.5 now.
Yeah. And, oh my god, is he really starting with that?
That's a dagger first.
That's a dagger.
Woo.
All right.
That is sharp. Actually going for the Warlords in lane, so he's not expecting to win lane. Dagger Warlords. Into Fervor of Battle from OQ, plus Sustain, and even Harass with the ebb and flow of Crystal.
Yeah, everything else is spot on. But Kog'Maw with Warriors, with Warlords, and on top of that, the Dagger. This is going to be fun.
He is going to be in for a lot of hurt.
I wonder how much attack speed is in his rune page, because he's probably just banking on the W. So once you rank up W, your trade's going to be a little better. You can get in a little more auto attacks. He has a range advantage on Kog'Maw, so that's what he's banking on to win out his trades. Meanwhile, OQ and Crystal, when they get in, there's no out. There's no exit strategy.
Yeah, so you just saw that was a Raptor start out of Xiaoyu. And a deep ward from Flandre onto the red buff will spot that out. Oh, he's got the Lulu, the picks to give him empowered auto attacks.
This lane has probably been the best one in 7.5. In solo queue, Kog'Maw and Lulu are the best, or at least the most successful laners, getting the highest win rate. And it comes down to the fact that, yeah, it gives you the extra... Oh god, you're so low.
So kind of super low health.
Yeah, you press W and E, you shield him up, you give him the extra attack speed. He's going to be able to just pop off shots, including the picks damage from Lulu. And he has Dagger too, so he has larger range.
Oh, we've got an invade from SOFM. He was saving his smite. That's why he was such low health. As he now heads over to the blue buff of Xiaoyu, the early ward from Flandre pays off as they saw that Rek'Sai went around towards the Krugs instead of going for his blue buff. So now defensive ward out of Savoki is going to spot this blue buff, steal. Immediate pings towards his own blue buff as SOFM completes a recall and is looking to put down Xiaoyu early.
That was really smart from SOFM. So he, trading, watch out there. But he was able to catch it out, of course, with the ward coming in from Flandre. Flandre now putting in the wards, just getting the triple buff locked down. And that's just great from SOFM that he was able to catch that out, immediately take the blue, and now he's able to secure his own.
Yeah, Xiaoyu elected to go for a recall, not even going to contest this a little bit as he goes for a longsword and heads back into his own jungle, so he will see that.
What I wonder is if SOFM elects to give blue buff over to Zatai or take the experience and say, hey, you know what? I have a massive experience lead over my opponent jungler. But don't be aggressive. Don't be greedy, man. Give it to Jace. I want to see this man get blue buff.
Yeah, Zatai is already trying to keep Republic pushed back as Scatter the Weak shoves him away. Now an invade out of Xiaoyu as he gets a quick control ward. Unfortunately, this entire jungle has been cleared out, and you can see Zatai is playing towards the top side of lane. So instead, he's going to head back to Krugs, but Snake are on top of it.
Yep.
Big minion wave from Game Talents is down there. Crystal is going to see him as he pops over the wall and immediately start looking for some punishment. Bubble.
Straight on him. Get him there.
Down.
Just maybe steal it. Try and steal it.
Oku is there as well.
Oh.
He managed to get the big Krug, but that's a lot of auto attacks. And with that experience, Xiaoyu tunnels over the wall to safety. But SOFM isn't done. Not only is he a level ahead, not only did he 3-buff, he's got your Raptors on timer.
Yeah, I mean, Rek'Sai has been farming up a bit of the storm. Reason why Rek'Sai's ahead, wait a minute. Ooh, gets the pop. But yeah, reason why Rek'Sai's ahead in CS is because of the fact that he got all the way topside. So he got his Krug camp and he got his Raptor camp. So the fact that SOFM is on top of that, able to take this one as well, he's keeping up, but it's smart from Xiaoyu to be able to prioritize these larger camps. So he's not really getting zoned out. He's kind of even. In fact, SOFM wasn't able to get any of the Krug camps, so he is kind of just a little bit farther behind. He has more experience, but the gold. Think about the gold. Oh,
Xiaoyu collapses onto Zatai. That's a quick knock-up after
he's
cleanse. And Xiaoyu gets first blood, forcing SOFM to leap back and over the corpse of his dead mid laner. SOFM's like, sorry, dude, I was invading Raptors.
I mean, that SOFM was probably looking to help and probably looking to dive, but there's no reason for Zatai to be, that close to the tower. Okay, SOFM, watch out.
Yeah, a little bit of disrespect if he walks way too far forward into the minion wave.
SOFM.
Gets a quick burst of damage onto Xiaoyu.
He's trying his hardest to freeze this lane.
Meanwhile, though, as SOFM decided he wants to become a mid laner for a while, perhaps harking back to Alex Itch's days, Gimgoon now is trading with Flandre in the top, saying, all right, now that we got Camille out of this lane, now that we got Jace out of here, let me show you what I'm capable of.
Just throwing harpoon after harpoon.
Look at what he started with. Ruby, Crystal, double potion. Not even going for damage, not even going for sustain, just saying, you know what, we're going hunting guys first.
I like Ruby Crystal, and the reason why I like Ruby Crystal, I built it myself on a few champions, is that it's an efficient purchase. It's good for the lane in a few cases, but of course he can back away, he can go towards his hunting guys, and then come back pretty scot-free. There we go.
Yeah, recall completed out of Gimgoon. Tragically, he used his teleport earlier, so he's not able to get right back into lane. But, as you said, the Haunting Guys is finished, so he should be able to get some damage. Flandre already answering with the Spectre's Cowl in that magic resist. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, you just saw Xiaoyu chasing Zatai away along with Republic. Scatter the Weak stun did miss, but Hexdrinker is completed, so it is Hexdrinker against Lost Chapter. And in the bottom lane, we still haven't seen a recall out of either of the two, though Shubin looks to put an end to that as he's headed back towards base right now.
Yeah, both of them should be looking for the exact same item. Blade of the Rune King, just different one. Ooh,
that
he's
is
going
Ginsu's start. Ginsu's.
Yeah, Gwinsu's.
Ginsu's?
Gwinsu's.
Ginsu.
Gwinsu's. We're gonna have to have a talk after this.
Yep.
We're gonna go hard on that.
Put that in the notes, boys.
Yep. Writing it down. Yeah, still going for that item.
Well, the item that shall not be named.
Yep.
For the sake of our sanity, Crystal finds Xiaoyu on the invade. Spots out a control ward as well, but with some help from Savoki, they are set to clear this thing out. Control ward gets cleared away, meaning a regular Sightstone has to be placed. SOFM is still just invading that Raptor camp. He owns that Raptor camp as the stun gets tossed out.
Oh my god.
Republic's got Power Unleashed. Is he going to go for it?
He might.
Yeah. Hex Drinker gets popped, and Zatai will be forced to back away as he did use both of his refillable potion charges.
Xiaoyu's in position. He's going to be able to get this red. And even though SOFM answers, this is SOFM near the top side of the map, so he might go for a dive in the top. But that just means Rek'Sai has so much pressure over Jace. Whoa!
Shubin's trading with him. Heal Flash is not going to be chased. OQ managed to hold on to both of his summoners. So playing Russian roulette with Shubin, and he decides to drop the gun first.
Those are 3 minions, Zatai. Get out of there. You don't want to die for 2 minions.
You don't want this.
All right, Rek'Sai walks away.
Meanwhile, Snake are going to force a fight onto Gimgoon. Cask pins him against the wall. SOFM decides not to engage as Equalizer is used to clear out the wave.
Yeah, very smart. The wave is about to die, and Gimgoon was still half HP after Gragas' combo. And SOFM's not going to get a lot of damage because he's near tower, so isolation damage, not going to be able to take it. So both of these dives are stalled out, but Republic, there we go.
Now he's got a full minion wave. Xiaoyu's walking it around. It's a tie.
Oh!
Tries to get elusive, but it is not enough. SOFM follows up onto Xiaoyu. Auto attack from Republic, but he's taking so many hits from the turret. And oh god, SOFM is going to clean this up. Red buff slow onto Republic. He's got nothing to do. He's got nowhere to go. He's got a double kill on SOFM.
And Nami takes the assist as well, so she's cashing out as well. Everybody gets a lot from that heist. But yeah, Xiaoyu comes out, looks for the dive. He's a persistent one. But Kha'Zix, coming off of his failed one on the top side, recognizes it, concedes, go towards the middle lane where he knows that Xiaoyu is still hanging around, and they're able to save it out. 2 kills for the Kha'Zix, who is battling out experience-wise with Xiaoyu all game long.
Things looking a little bit dire for Game Talents as SOFM is starting to put the team on his back with these 2 kills. Completed Warriors Enchant. Looks like Xiaoyu going the complete opposite route as he is looking for Cinder Hulk on that Bomby Cinder. Blue buff being started and gifted over kindly to Republic as he heads back towards the mid lane. SOFM is continuing to farm up a Storm.
That longsword for Xiaoyu probably means that he's going to go for...
T-Mac.
Yeah. But that's not a problem here.
Bubble catches Shubin. Xiaoyu heading bottom. There are no minions there, but teleport onto the tunnel, and they've got Republic down there as well. Wild Growth tops him off as teleport is canceled. Gimgoon on his way top to catch up with Flandre. But this is 4 people pressuring that bottom tier 1, and 2 people pressuring the mid, which is faster.
The 4-man should be a lot faster, but that just means that Snake have to cancel. After they take this tower, they need to back away and defend. Game Talents recognize that's going to be a problem. In fact, they just completely back away. This tower is not even going to be an issue.
Oh man, the Equalizer to clear out the minion wave. Snake won't even be able to deal with that tier 1 turret. And Game Talents answer expertly. Teleport is started by Flandre and canceled by Flandre.
That was a really bad teleport, especially since the wave was completely canceled out. You were not going to be able to do anything there. So major win from Game Talents across the board. They were able to get the TP. They were able to get the tower, able to get the kills.
Yeah, Gimgoon now racing bottom to catch up with his tier 1 means a lane swap from Game Talents. They're the ones setting the pace this game. We said it before. Game Talents have got Snake figured out. They know what to do to win. The question is, will they actually catch them? And they do! SOFM is knocked up mid-leap. Gimgoon burns him away and auto attack drills him to the ground.
And that was a pretty hot drill. He was in fire mode, so that burned a bit of a hole in his stomach. a big graphic, but that's exactly what happened in front of you kids.
And now it's 3-2. Game Talents 800 gold up. They've got that first turret advantage. They're covering top, mid, and bottom. And Snake, this time it's not a pick composition that they're running, so they don't get to play around Vision anywhere near as much as they did in the previous set.
And the benefit of all of this is a gold lead in favor of Game Talents means that Kog'Maw is well enough protected. He's in the offense. He's moving towards the proper lanes. That means it's going to be very much a good positioning for him to build. What are you doing, buddy? You didn't see that, man. Get back behind that wall.
That's a lot. Yeah, here comes Nami. Tries to heal it. Bubble misses. Culling does a lot of damage, but he's burning him down. Flash is used, and Krugs do not finish the job as OQ effectively is able to duel. Can you call it a duel if you get healed by an ally?
Definitely not. I know Gimgoon wouldn't be calling it that.
Bit unfortunate there, but Gimgoon is pulling the attention of Snake. This was something that they tried last week and ended up actually not seeing success in. Gimgoon pulls the attention, but Game Talents didn't respond as Shubin. It's just a bit of damage.
That man does not do a lot of damage. So when you look towards what these trades actually mean, the fact that Gragas was able to clear that wave means a lot. that evens out the pressure coming through. Lucian's going to be able to get this tower just now. Same with Kog'Maw on this wave. So they're pretty close. In fact, wait a minute. Let's see if Gragas is able to deal with this wave. He should actually get dived.
Yeah, Xiaoyu's on his way. He zones it back. Looks like they're trying to force a tier 1 trade, but there are no minions. SOFM turns onto the Dragon while you've got OQ and Crystal clearing out the bottom tier 1. It will fall as Gimgoon watches from the rafters.
That is a major win from Snake. Not only able to get the Dragon, but the tower as well. Game Talents are still going to be looking to commit to this, which is a big miss here. Sure, they're going to be able to take this. That's just fine.
I mean, they're certainly trying.
But the fact that they've committed so long to this means the back timings on Lucian, he's going to be able to wait a minute. Flandre's not done just yet.
Flandre's doing what he can. That's exhaust, which forces his flash. Xiaoyu, oh gosh, barely survives. Zubin, he's going to die. I mean, he got the kill, but they don't get the turret. That was never the goal. Zatai shows up as well. Savoki is racing out. He's got flash, and Xiaoyu is actually outside of vision, so Zatai doesn't see that. That means Republic is left to deal with this.
Wow.
And this is, again, the same problem they saw last week. Their side lanes pull pressure, but the rest of the team can't make anything happen from it.
They just did not expect Flandre to be able to hold that much. That was 2 to 3 waves coming at Flandre, and Flandre was able to clear it not only with his ulti, but his Q barrels. He was sticking to it as much as he could. And so that wasn't even a tower taken away. I'm pretty sure that tower is still up and available. It is.
It is, yeah.
And at Snake, not only were they able to take the tower down bot lane, but they were able to rotate top, and Game Talents are still rushing to this. So that's a lot of this tower being chunked down just off of not only a mistake, but the fact that they committed to that very mistake.
Yeah, Oki's doing a lot of work with this Bork. Shubin shows up with the item that shall not be named, and finally clears out the rest of the wave as Savoki and Crystal exchange hellos in the tri-bush.
I'll call it the red fiery dagger for now.
Typical support trade. SOFM shows up now.
Oh.
He eats a Glitter Lance, but goes in regardless. Tidal Wave forces the flash out of Savoki, and Chubin eats some more harass. Flash knock up onto Crystal as Gingoon teleports in. Equalizer, they burn down that support. That's one. They're going to look to finish the job that they started earlier as they force the flash out of SOFM as well. 4 members up, but there's no answer for Flandre.
Yeah, Flandre has TP. He's not going to look towards using it. The entire play, I believe, was just to get the TP away because they were able to chunk down Savoki. And then hopefully they're going to look to back away, but that's just not an option for them.
They're finishing off the top tier 1 turret right now. Game Talents are continuing to set the forward tempo. Republic is caught out in the river. Cask is ready, and he might just get pinned backwards.
You can't stop that fat man. He's coming.
Yeah, manages to land a stun, however. There's no follow-up as there are lots of pings. Zatai is looking for the shot. He shoots!
Oh!
Ew, he misses. Republic sidesteps and walks away alive.
Couldn't get that goal. He was trying. Flandre set him up. Couldn't get the kill, but they're going to be able to pressure the mid lane turret, or at least they tried before the squad came in to help out.
Yeah, blue buff now going to be taken by Flandre. Zatai is there and will get it secured despite Xiaoyu being in the area. Game Talents cycle out their recalls, look for a few more items. Morel Namakan now finished onto Republic along with his Sork boots. SOFM looking rather big himself, opts for a recall while Zatai now gets the opportunity to pressure this mid lane. Shubin tries to clear out the wave.
Ooh.
And dodges that shock blast.
But this turret's been set up pretty well from Snake. So with the bottom lane tower down, Snake's looking to take this top one as well. They have a lot of HP being chipped down here. If they can commit to it, then that's great. Then they can go to the bottom, the mid lane and be able to take that one as well. It's just free gold that they just need to cash out.
Yeah.
They've got the check ready.
They just need to bring it to the bank. So much vision on that top side of the map, all up in the jungle, so they will spot the rotation. But in fact, they don't need to right now, as Xiaoyu is currently grouped up with Savoki trying to fight this vision in the jungle. Meanwhile, Gimgoon is chasing Flandre off in the bottom lane. Gimgoon does not have teleport, so if a big fight breaks out, Snake will be at a numbers advantage on this side of the map. But both of those tier 1s are still standing, and Snake are denied entrance. This bank is not open yet.
Yeah, and you know what Game Talents are trying to do. They don't really care about the turrets. I mean, they're going to get this mid lane one, or at least they're trying to focus for it. But they know what they have in the investment. Serge Zubin took a little bit of damage, but the fact that he's scaling up quite nice, he must be sitting on a lot of gold. You look to Rek'Sai, he's got himself the Cinderhulk. He's probably looking for a Phage, but he just hasn't built much at all. He's just building very defensively, which is the exact opposite of what SOFM builds on the Rek'Sai, because he's just playing tank.
Yeah.
He wants to play the frontline role, so the backline does a lot of damage. You have a lot of damage coming in from Syndra, Rumble, and farming up Kog'Maw.
It really is a very trusting setup from Game Talents. Protect the Kog'Maw. He's going for the full, I need a few seconds to ramp up in a fight, which means you have to keep me alive, but if I get ramped up, it is going to be nasty amounts of damage. So a lot of pressure onto Snake to shut down that Kog'Maw early, and so far at 1-1-1, 150 CS, he's on clock. And that's a scary thing for a Kog'Maw to be.
And you see two different types of builds coming in for Kog'Maw. You see Blade of the Rune King and Trinity Force.
Yeah.
Or you see this, which is likely going to be Gwynsu's, or though, you know, I'm not going to, will not be named.
And Runans.
Oh, Runans, okay. So he's going to turn that dagger into Runans and not a Blade of the Rune King. That's going to be interesting.
Ooh, Xiaoyu trying to steal away the red buff. Just saw Flandre hop over the wall. But SOFM, again, that guy has got like, there's a specific part of his brain that is just buff timers and jungle timers.
Yep.
He knows that stuff on cooldown.
He's bringing that notebook on stage. That's what's happening right here. You think it's him just filing it under his
It's like savant levels of timers.
Yeah.
If I take the blue buff at 4 minutes and 27 seconds and then the Raptor camp at 4 minutes and 45 seconds, and before you even finish the question, he's like 9 minutes and 43 seconds.
I knew your question before you even
He knows it that well. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So that means red buff is picked up by SOFM. You just saw a little bit of trading as Republic is having some difficulty dealing with Zatai one-on-one now that the Youmu's has been finished. But this finally might be the opportunity to finish off the Tier 1.
Yeah, so Game Talents have just completely sacked the top side, and it was mostly because Snake as a whole were pivoting towards the mid lane. They were going to pressure mid lane. That's where Lucian is right now. It's interesting that Game Talents are going to be able to take this.
Oh.
If it was an AP Gragas, you know.
Yeah.
That's when you start clenching.
He had the cask 1-2 combo, but Snake are moving, as you said, towards that top side. They continue to find harass onto Republic. Only 3 minions is not enough to take the turret, but that means Shubin is undefended in the mid lane. Culling chunks him out. However, he's able to keep high enough. SOFM hops over the wall for even more harass. Xiaoyu's ready with flash knockup, but decides not to force the engage. Gimgoon still bottom with Flandre as the two top laners with teleport are just trading it back and forth. Xiaoyu gets a knockup. Yeah, that's a leap from Savoki. They're doing a lot to defend this turret. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and so the whole pivot game towards top side was because Game Talents we're taking that Cloud Dragon. Next one's going to be Earth, so follow that one. That's probably going to be something they try and fight for rather than trade. So Snake tried to trade top side, couldn't get anything. Now they look towards mid. They were trying to get Zubin, but Zubin didn't take that much damage from culling.
Yeah.
So that was just really weird from SOFM to try and look for something. He took a lot of damage in the meanwhile. So Snake, they're probably just going to look to reset and then try for mid once again. But that's when it starts to get explosive because Game Talents will not look to let that happen.
Yeah. They've got a lot of damage on that Kog'Maw. He's probably got enough gold for the Runans coming up soon with the Zeal already finished. Republic forced to continue to answer the split push of Zatai as Gimgoon roams mid. Mid-tier 1 is under fire here, but Xiaoyu sees Zatai there. Flandre's on his way up as well. Single Cloud Dragon and Scuttle Crab gets him there really quick.
This is a fight that they want.
Again eats a Shock Blast despite being grouped as 4, and now Republic racing down there as well. If Shubin keeps on taking hits like this, it's so tough.
Yeah, they're trying their hardest to chip him down, so when the fight does start, it's in their favor. It's easier to jump into the back line and deal with Zubin. So Zubin has to relax, has to, you know, lean back a little bit so he doesn't get poked down by both Jace and SOFM's W.
Blue buff respawns.
Okay. All right. I see SOFM. Flandre, don't do that.
Yeah, if Flandre can pull Gimgoon over here, along with SOFM, that means they could try to look for more poke in that mid lane. Blue buff is the fight. Xiaoyu gets a knock up as Cask is now used. Republic is trying to collapse. Flash from Flandre. He belly slams forward, but the Equalizer lays the carpet. Power Unleashed is not enough as Hex Drinker keeps him alive. Republic does not have enough. Tosses out his W, but cannot quite catch SOFM.
So Republic used both of his sums in that he doesn't have any mana right now, so he needs to back. This is a great time for Snake to now pressure towards the mid lane and continue to move out.
Catching that recall is so vital. Mid-tier 1 falls, the third of the game. And now Snake have opened up the map, allowed for a lot more points of entry into the jungle of Game Talents.
And it's all about how you catch out that Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
He finished his Runan's Hurricane. He has a lot of attack speed, and he's going to a point where now, he's going to his third build, but currently at this point in the game, he's doing a lot of damage. If they can utilize the map that they have mapped out for themselves. So they have every outer turret available for them. Control the top side of the map. It's 22 minutes into the game. Baron is pretty relevant. Earth Dragon's going to be up soon. Flandre apparently built a banner of command.
Yeah, he had that a while ago. Great way to keep Gimgoon locked down in that lane just because of the auto attacks of Rumble are so itty-bitty baby weak.
Yeah, that's what Siang built all set up against the Rumble himself.
Yeah.
So you could tell who's been practicing with each other. This is just, uppercut. Going right for a straight. Another straight. Going for a straight once more. Pick it. Oh, he gets the backhand.
Man. Oh, the banner minion turns onto Gimgoon.
Oh, no, he's going to have to back away. Reset pressure. Go into that bush.
Yeah. Resets aggro. Now missing ping. Doesn't know where that Flandre is.
Question mark?
That means that Flandre is actually allowed to group up with the rest of his team. And Snake, with all of that vision control, they now are able to set up. They catch Xiaoyu in a bubble. Luckily, that Rek'Sai really tanky. He can take a few of these hits.
Rumble.
The rest of Game Talents are sitting back and are fighting over this vision. They're not allowing Snake to get this for free.
They're allowed to do this because Rumble was sitting on that same wave for quite some time, able to clear it out, but here comes the fight.
Yeah, once again, they might try to catch SOFM as Republic follows up and eats some harass. Shubin juggling both the minion wave and the aggro of OQ. But he's able to keep himself safe as Gimgoon now walks down the mid lane. That means Flandre has a small window of pressure in his own side lane.
And right now, OQ is at a good spike for himself, getting Blade of the Rune King and, of course, that Black Cleaver. He might just back away. It's always fun to see what a Lucian would pick up here. It's either going to be Berserker's Greaves, maybe Boots of Lucidity. Let's see what he goes for. He's going to go for next Berserk. Not even going to. He's got the peasant boots on. He doesn't want to upgrade it. I'm kind of sad about that. Sitting on raggedy old boots. They look like socks from here.
They really do.
Yeah.
They're not called the brown bags for nothing.
Yeah.
Gimgoon, however, finally heads bottom. 2 items finished. He is ready for a fight, but so too is Snake. They are about 1,200, 1,300 gold ahead, and with Mountain Dragon up in 50 seconds and a lot of vision.
There we go. He uses the banner of command. Now it's time for him to evacuate the entire situation. He's going to be looking to go straight towards his team. This is the time that Snake right now are in a great position.
They certainly are. And Gimgoon,
I don't want to see this.
He's locked down. He's trying to clear that out. As some damage finds Shubin, he's able to sidestep most of it. The rest of Game Talents are grouped up. They've still got to wait a little bit longer for that bannered minion to fade away. Gimgoon's got his teleport, and so too does Flandre. They're continuing to trade and fight over vision here in the jungle. Here comes Gimgoon. He's made his way towards the mid lane, but so too has Flandre. They are ready to collapse and force a fight. This is so tense.
Yeah, right now, Gimgoon is in a position where he's really positioned for the fight, as you've mentioned. And it's because even though the wave is at his tower on the bottom side of the map, he's going to be fine with it. It's not really threatening the tower.
Yeah, but Snake instead decide to collapse on that Mountain Drake. All of the vision, all of the fighting, all of the skirmishing, top side of the map might have just been a bait as Savoki uses that redemption to get himself back up. Mountain Drake is turned upon. And as 5 Game Talents, they're grouped up in the mid lane. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's what's interesting. If Game Talents right now, they're shoving in, sure. They should not look towards this tower. They should completely take away the vision that Snake worked hard for in the top side of the map. They can do that. All right, they take the tower, but they can do that now that they have the positioning towards Baron. It was a risk that Snake made. Sure, they get Dragon for that, but they invested so much towards...
Yeah, Flandre split pushing on the tier 2, but Game Talents are retreating towards the Baron. 26 minutes in, that is a huge objective.
Yeah.
So the trade is going to be, we will finally trade over that tier 1 to get us even in turrets, even if you get a slight advantage with that Mountain Dragon. As Shubin again eats another Shock Blast. Suddenly that Warlords is making a lot more sense as that provides a lot more lifesteal later on. But no answer from Gimgoon. He holds on to the teleport, and that's a tier 2 traded. So a tier 2 and Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, really bad positioning. Really bad positioning from Rumble because he's been playing towards the rest of the map for the longest time to be able to clear out vision, to contest a lot. Flandre picked that up, and he just looked towards completely just pushing in the lane and chunking it out. And by no means is Greg is known as a tower pushing champion. He was
took
bopping
a long
heads.
time.
Yeah, he was bopping heads with that tower for quite some time, but that just shows how bad of a position Gimgoon was in to just kind of not be able to deal with that.
Yeah. I think it's amazing that there wasn't a fight there.
Yeah.
Both teams were grouped up, 5v5. They were ready. They were skirmishing over vision. but they decided instead to let it go. Zatai ring around the
He's
rosy. There he goes. Now he's found Republic. Misses the shock blast, but still tries to go for a burst. As Power Unleashed is nowhere near enough. His Flandre is up on the top lane. Flash gets him over the cast. Gimgun is there. He's got the equalizer ready. Will he use it? His Tidal Wave catches Shubin and Gimgun, and now Xiaoyu's left all alone. Zatai trying to chase this out. It's 5 members of Game Talents. Republic is chunked so low. He's used his burst combo. Savoki is heading them off at the pass to keep Shubin safe. But the minion wave has been effectively cleared out, and that means Flandre has walked away as well. And SOFM will zone the rest of them back as well. So Game Talents, they are ready. They are rearing for a fight. But they decide not to go for it with the equalizer, and they use their teleport as well.
Yeah, to Game Talent's benefit, there was no wave pushing in the mid lane. Oh, SOFM has to watch out here. But the fact that there was no wave pushing in meant that they could back away. But Zatai recognizes this, pushes the wave himself, and now he's threatening this turret.
Oh, Republic's able to get some damage on the SOFM, but without Power Unleashed, he just doesn't have the execution. 28 minutes in. Slowly but surely, Game Talents are being maneuvered around the map. Full culling. Oh, Republic goes down. OQ gets the solo kill. Shubin shows up. That's a lot of damage from Kog'Maw with just a few auto attacks, but decides not to over-chase as the mid-tier 2 now falls. And despite the fact that Game Talents are ready to fight, they just don't get the opportunity to. Like a snake. Snake are moving around, dashing in and out, using their mobility to just pull Game Talents around. Again, the redemption to top Savoki off. He's still got the wild growth. They are ready for a fight, but Snake are not going to give it to them.
They just have the gloves. They put it on, but at every point you see, okay, OQ, he backs away. He says, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to touch you. But I'm back because my team's here. So you know what? it feels like Snake, they're never going to just press B. They're never going to wait on it. As I say that, they just reset as a team. And it's because Game Talents, they are stronger in team fighting, that Kog'Maw is becoming a real threat. He's going towards Blade of the Rune King now, and it doesn't matter because he's just getting poked down at every point in turn. And then when he's ready, when he's in position, the fight's just never happening, and it's never being forced. Republic was getting picked at one point, but his team was there to help him out. And then immediately Snake just defend Jace and completely back away. And meanwhile, Jace just goes mid and be able to take down the turret.
This has always been a problem for Game Talents. The fact that if they don't have a clear go button, if they don't have Kled, if they don't have Camille with the Hextech ultimatum, they struggle to force these fights. And it comes to these situations where the only option is to fight back against the undefended Nexus in game number 2. And Snake so intelligently are just taking their time and saying, all right, you guys want to fight? No.
Not going to happen.
Not this time.
I like how Zatai, now new to the team, helps out Flandre in a lot of ways. Because if Flandre can't split push, though he's trying his hardest, Zatai will do just that. They're very creative, especially how Jace has been playing this game so far, and just not forcing the fight at any point.
Yeah.
Constantly shoving out waves and just helping out. And it's just, look at them, just buddies across the map.
Zatai is so experienced at split pushing. And now that Flandre is starting to show that as well, the 1-3-1 of Snake is turning into a huge threat. And again, they're actually setting up on the Baron right now. That was teleport from Flandre to get in. Republic is trying to get there. Xiaoyu's denied by the tidal wave. Cast knocks him away, and that's nowhere near enough. Finally, Flash knockup finds 3. It's followed up. Shubin's trying to get in. This is the fight the Game Talents want. This is the fight that they need. Exhaust onto Shubin. He doesn't get the execution on the Crystal, and still doesn't land that living artillery. Somehow Crystal is alive, but there he's going to try to head them off. Gimgun walks in. Zanya to buy some time, and that's the Kog'Maw flank you were talking about. He finds Flandre. He finds Crystal. He finds OQ, and that is 3 kills. Soon to be 4. SOFM, the sole survivor. They got the Baron, but Game Talents got the fight.
Completely, and you don't expect the flank coming out of Kog'Maw. But at this point in the game, you can't stop him. He has the Blade of the Rune King. He has 3 items, and the rest of them they couldn't. That was the fight that Game Talents wanted, and it finally happened at the cost of Baron. But who has Baron? Just SOFM.
This is the sole survivor.
What can they use it for? I guess this is still fine for Snake, and we're going to take a second look at this because Xiaoyu with a perfect flash, able to get in there for the 3-man knockup. And then you just take a look at Zubin. Doesn't matter that he gets exhausted here because he's out for blood. Misses that ulti, but he's got this. Oh, no, misses that one too. And this is when it gets a little bit turned around because they just completely get penned in here. 3 people from the top side, 2 from the bottom. Sure, Saboki doesn't seem so threatening, but he's got Kog'Maw on his side.
Yeah, with the full respawn timers of Snake, that's Game Talents picking up their second dragon of the game, that Ocean Drake, definitely going to help. Not quite as much as 2 or 3 would, but against the poke of a Jace, it's going to be quite helpful. And now, despite the fact that Game Talents are 4,000 gold down, they are still definitely in this as they managed to find the fight that they were looking for.
So this is what makes it good for Snake, even though they lost that fight entirely. The fact that it is on SOFM, who's going to be the 3-man in the mid lane, means that they're going to hold firm this push anyways. And so Gragas and Jace, who are already pressuring the side lanes, are still going to be there. Problem now is they have to respond to this because Game Talents are first to the push. You can see them flanking in there. The pincer maneuver is definitely intact.
Yeah, and they're still focused on that fight. Grouped as 5 in the mid lane. SOFM leaps forward, but eats a stun. Saboki eats him harassed. Gimgoon's trying to kite it around from the backside. Shubin is still fine, and that's Gimgoon burning them down. Shubin starting to fire these shots across, and that's 1 kill onto Zitai with just barely a single auto attack. Xiaoyu trying to get away and look for the flank, but with Zitai down, that's a lot of their poke. And though SOFM still has Baron to empower these minions, Game Talents have got a lot going for them in this push.
Yeah, it's a disaster for Snake because they were trying to set up the push on side lanes, but Game Talents beat them to the punch. And so Snake tried to fight, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So now Game Talents are going to back away just a little bit, but now it's up to Snake to be able to set these pushes once again. Baron is still on SOFM, so if he can still push out this lane, they need to get the push out mid first, and then they can send Gragas and Zitai up to the side lane.
Xiaoyu able to clear out that banner minion. Slightly more suited to the task than Gimgoon, but not by much. Only just a touch.
It's a little sad that Xiaoyu didn't go towards the Tiamat build into Titanic, because that's usually when you just say, hey, you know what? I'm split pushing now. Rumble, get out of my lane.
He's going full tank at this point. And oh man, take a look at what Shubin's building. Going for the Jaram's Fist into Steric's Gauge on this Kog'Maw. So even if somebody does try to assassinate him, that only makes him stronger.
Yeah, he's probably going to,
like a Super Saiyan. The closer to death, the more damage he does.
And I want to see Lulu go towards an Ardent sensor. What does she have here? Oh, I can't see the first
Redemption.
item. Okay, yeah, Redemption, of course it is. Already going towards the next one. It probably has to be that Ardent sensor. I want to see it. That's when Kog'Maw just goes off.
Xiaoyu with his GA leads the charge as double Leandries from Game Talents rounds out a lot of the damage that they're doing. OQ, meanwhile, has gotten rather large himself, completing the Rapid Fire Cannon next, and the Hex Drinker for survivability.
Oh, that's a Baron power play.
The Baron power play is down 1,700 gold comparatively, but it's still definitely a boon. They would rather have that negative 1,700 Baron power play than giving it over to Game Talents. As right now, Game Talents, despite being down about 5,000, they've still maintained momentum in this set, and it's a battle of play styles.
Yeah.
Game Talents want to fight. Snake want to pick and play side lanes.
That's why you have to look towards Jace, where he's at currently. Right now, he's defending mid. Meanwhile, Gragas hasn't even started the push in the bot side yet. So they're waiting on Gragas pressure. He has TP.
Yeah, he just used the banner of command, but Xiaoyu immediately forces the fight. As you said, Xiaoyu is the target as they're just fighting over vision. Shubin right behind Xiaoyu makes one heck of a threat. So Snake have got to respect it and back away. SOFM seems to having a little bit of difficulty with this respect as he just leaps over the wall.
Now,
key point here. Gifted his life.
Key point here is Crystal does not have his ulti. They can't really disengage from a fight, nor can they start one up themselves. They don't have that Nami ulti.
I was wrong. It's actually Frozen Mallet on Shubin.
That's
amazing. There is no escape.
Good. So this is fun. The Ardent Sensor did get built, so that's Ardent Sensor for Lulu. And on top of that, the Frozen Mallet. So when the fight's Stu Star, you are going to get chased down.
It's going to be huge.
I love this Kog'Maw build. I love Frozen Mallet on Kog'Maw.
Darn Rito taking away my 5 attacks per second Kog'Maw. Well, you know what? I'll just build it myself.
I'll get that item build. I'm sitting down. I ain't moving.
Yep. Going for the, I was going to say human turret. He's really not a human. He's some sort of void creature turret. 37 minutes in, this is a very tense match. Snake are playing on a nice edge. They weren't able to get a strong advantage early because it was a rather even game. And now they are paying the cost of that because this Kog'Maw is fully operational and he is pointed towards Alderaan.
It is so hard right now, I'll tell you right now. The fact that he actually built towards the Edge of Night. I don't know about that one. He's pretty squishy
SOFM.
himself, yeah.
Like, the lethality's still good, and a 5-second spell shield is great for when you're leaping in.
Yeah. Maybe I'm overreacting with the nerfs that came through, but it's hard for him to actually have a right play because of how tough this team fight composition is, actually. So he wants the damage because all he's going to be doing is poking. He's not necessarily going to be committing to any fight. So he's just at a tough spot. I think everyone is. They want to be able to force number advantage, but perhaps even in a 4v5 they'd still win game talents.
If they manage to keep Kog'Maw alive, that is.
Yeah, no, so that's a big question mark. I want Savoki to go just all in on it. Get Athene's on Holy Grail. Just get steal this
they
man
managed to catch a slow onto Zatai. He's forced to Youmu's as a bubble denies any chase. Okyu's actually getting some good armor penetration onto Xiaoyu as Savoki eats harass. And they're trying to set up this sort of conal front approach so that Shubin cannot get his AoE blast on that Runans.
Yeah.
Culling now finds Savoki. That does a lot, but Redemption will top them all back up a nice amount. Unfortunately, Grievous Wound still keeps Xiaoyu down, so he's going to have to be a bit respectful here. Stun onto Zatai. Another slow to follow it up. Power Unleashed is enough! They managed to assassinate Zatai. Baron has just spawned, and Xiaoyu actually got a quick recall. Equalizer. Game talents are forcing the fight. Flash from Crystal to get over the wall. They're trying to chase this down. Xiaoyu leaps forward. It's 5 versus 4, and Shubin immediately turns onto the Baron.
That fight's starting, and it's just not up to Snake. They're either fighting this one.
Stun onto Flandre.
Or they lose
Game
Baron.
Talents managed to pull themselves back. They turn onto Crystal, and he is demolished. Now back onto the Baron. Now back at me. Look at your hand. Diamonds. No, just kidding. It's a Baron. They turn back. It's SOFM over the wall. Cask separates it, but they're delaying this damage. They're delaying this vision. Minions are on the inhibitor, but there's no way to get there. Finally, they get a ward over it. And Game Talents are eating so much AoE from the Baron, but they don't seem to mind. Savoki ended up over the wall by flashing. Baron is secured. SOFM looks for an assassination and is exhausted. He flashes to get away with his life. And now back at me. It's SOFM.
That was ridiculous. Savoki saved that entire play. They were able to burst down the Baron when Savoki denied Kha'Zix entirely.
Whoa!
And Kha'Zix dead.
Peekaboo, it's Xiaoyu. Whoa, Okyu's doing out. You can do that?
You can do it.
Solo Elder Dragon from Okyu.
That's one way to do it. That's one way to match the Baron.
Yeah.
But they lost a lot of lives for that. So SOFM dying and because he tried to steal it. That's respectable. Lulu wins, you definitely stopped him from doing that. So it's good that he made the attempt. But OQ, thinking outside the box, says I have Blade of the Rune King. A lot of attacks, I mean, a lot of life steal, a lot of shred in himself as well. And he was able to just completely take it down with the HP shred that it provides.
Yeah, Game Talents break down the tier 2 turret. With Baroned up minions, they're looking for more. Shubin is so huge right now. Flash, body slam, and he flashes back out of the side, dodges the knockup, but still eats the vestigial sides of it. He turns now onto Flandre, who has died, and the inhibitor itself shall fall.
Kha'Zix is down, Flandre is down. It's only 3 members up and available for Snake. If they can somehow hold this, that would be a miracle.
Instead, Game Talents take their time. There's a massive minion wave up top, and they are going to try to bring it all the way down to the Nexus as the tier 2 falls, and Gimgoon gets some harass over the wall. Shubin is ready as the bubble misses. SOFM tries to clear it out, but this turret is not long for the world with Shubin on it.
Xiaoyu's low, Republic is completely low. This is a bit of a risk. They're completely banking it on Zubin being that tank frontliner, which he's got to tank that damage.
That's an offensive redemption. Sorry, no, that was just the wrong particle animation. He's healed up, and Game Talents are barely able to stay alive. No, that was, in fact, Snakes. They have the Elder Dragon burn on them. Interesting. I like the creative usage, Crystal.
Trying to smite down Republic from the heaven.
Yes.
Can see it.
Call down the wrath of Crystal.
Ha! Oh, he's alive. Hey, even Lulu ultied for that one. So.
But it's 41 minutes into the game. Game Talents are enormous. If they group up as 5 and force a fight, Snake are no longer allowed to attempt to pull Game Talents apart because this rock of a composition with that gem of a Kog'Maw at the center is barreling down towards these turrets. And Snake backs against the wall. They've only got Elder Dragon for a few seconds more.
And 2
what can they do?
They don't have a lot of time to do anything as well. They don't have many options, and they don't have time to think about it. So Snake, in their environment, when you don't have to think, just go for it.
The Mongoose strikes once again, cornering the Snake into its burrow.
Oh, are they gonna reach in?
Is it enough?
they have looking to top wave. That's going to take a while before it actually crashes in. You look towards mid lane. Lucian is dealing with it as well. Snake has a little bit of time, but it's going to be on this wave that game talents come in.
Yeah, they're bringing those minions in. Bubble catches
Zubin
Zubin.
gets-
Cast
Oh,
knocks him in.
Zubin!
He's got no flash. Can they burst him down?
He's
they
dead.
can't. He's dead. Snake are going to try to fight this. SOFM over the wall finds Republic. He's dead as well. There is not enough. And suddenly, they have lost nobody. Savoki
Oh
is
my
going to
God.
die. And that will almost certainly be the game for Snake. It's 42 minutes in. Gimgoon is stalling this out as best he can. Xiaoyu is the
That's
sole
it.
survivor. They caught Zubin.
How did it do it? That was a ridiculous bubble coming in from Crystal. And the moment they do it, they confirm it with Gragas Barrel. Every single one of the members of Snake were able to get that. And Zubin completely deleted from that. I don't know if they can do it, but they're definitely pinging for it.
Yeah, they're looking for the inhibitor right now. 20 seconds on Zubin. Another 20 onto Republic. Instead, they're just going to push the minion wave back, and in fact, they might not be able to get anything. Maybe the mid inhibitor turret, but Xiaoyu is there.
Yeah, Zatai's getting eaten alive. He might just die to these minions.
Oh man, if he takes another hit from a super, he will.
Oh!
50 health.
Okay.
Makes it back on. Just barely. But Game Talents, they lost the fight. They were allowed to survive by the grace of the death timers.
Yeah.
Only just barely.
Just take a look at that. Crystal lands it on Zubin. At this point, Flounder recognizes, throws everything they can at him. Lulu ulted just to say, you know what, good luck on your journey. And at this point, Snake all ins for it. Flounder commits to Savoki because he's like, these guys are dead. There you go, you're done. They try to go for Gimgoon as well. Exhaust on it. So Crystal, my man, this completely demolishes it from that team fight.
Yeah. SOFM's flank finally yielded results as well.
Yeah, and he has Zeke's Herald for OQ, so OQ may not have crit, other than, of course, the rapid fire cannon.
Sorry, Crystal.
Crystal, yeah.
Yeah, has the Zeke's Herald.
Yeah, so Crystal has Zeke's Herald. He's going to be able to amplify OQ's damage a little bit more.
SOFM skirmishing with Vision over Game Talents as they're setting up the exact same push that they tried just a few seconds ago. However, this time, Zubin has Flash. So he's got that going for him,
You
which
have
is
to hope
nice.
he uses it.
And a Gnasher's Tooth. Holy cow.
This guy's just not stopping.
You do not want to be caught in his range.
Xiao, you better watch out, though. He's going to take a lot of
He's
damage.
awfully tanky at this point in the game. Zubin's starting to pepper these shots. They don't have Baron on the minion, so it's much easier to clear. SOFM is still looking for a flank, but super minions are flooding in from outside lanes.
They have to act now. Top wave is starting to crash in. This is a good time. The bottom lane wave is going to take a lot of time for them to actually come in. So yes, OQ is going to be dealing with it.
That's four
That's
super
a
minions.
lot of super
SOFM is
minions.
forced to leap over. That means with Flandre pulled aside, they actually ignore the minions. With Xiaoyu tanking, they get about half health onto that turret. Lack of raw AD on Kog'Maw means that that's relatively hard to burn through.
This is such a hard position for Snake. They have to deal with the waves coming in.
A
They
Nexus
better
turret
go
has
in
actually
now.
gone down. Or no, the inhibitors are actually coming back up in the mid lane. I apologize. And Xiaoyu backs away. Snake managed to hold on, but only barely.
You know, they are far more patient than I am. I'm just like saying, fight now. And they're like, wait a minute, just go relax.
Pings now onto the Baron as it looks like Game Talents are going to go for a final recall. If it doesn't work once, try again.
Yeah, but it's enough time. 20 seconds is enough. Snake are already pushing out ahead for the next incoming waves in the mid lane. So to give them a better chance at dealing with this Baron. They want to contest it. They definitely don't want it going in Game Talent's hands. All of their inhibs are up. They're in even playing field now. Not completely even. Game Talents have pressure and priority in Baron. But as even as it's gonna
they
get.
caught SOFM with the stun. They're trying to force a fight. Power
He's
Unleashed
down.
is enough. That's a quick assassination onto the jungler of Snake. He's dead for 60 seconds. They continue to chase forward. Redemption trying to keep Snake in this. Savoki
Lulu's
flash
low.
glitter glances. But it's not enough as now Snake continue to back
Oh,
up.
Xiaoyu. Oh,
Good body
double
slam
bubble.
is going to find Xiaoyu. Zubin is still kiting this out in the back. They've got to deal with the Kog'Maw. They have to have an answer. But so far, they do
OQ.
not. He's trying to kite it around the far
He
side.
gets it.
He gets the Guardian Angel, but that is nowhere near enough to stop this push. As now Crystal is making his way out. The inhibitors are being turned upon as Game Talents ravage the remaining base.
They're gonna try and
4
take the game.
versus 5. Recall from OQ gets him back in the base. That's a stun onto Flandre. Zatai is firing these shots, but catches minions instead. And Game Talents respectfully take a single Nexus turret and back away.
But that was just one inhib that they really care for. That's still good for Snake. Baron is still up and available. They can push mid and still contest, but if they lose the fight that comes forward, they lose the game. Baron is starting up.
Yeah, Shubin is going to shred through this real quick. Xiaoyu's doing work as well. Here comes Flandre coming in for the flank. Republic is waiting in the wings. Now he sees that this is happening. That's teleport being used.
They need to go in.
Explosive cask barrel. Oh, but a smite from Xiaoyu secures it. Gimgoon teleports in. He turns onto OQ. Republic is assassinated by Zatai, and that's also going to be a drop onto Crystal as OQ falls as well. Now turning onto Flandre, mid laner for the AD carry and support. Xiaoyu zoning away SOFM while Shubin looks to be making a run for the base. Gimgoon burns down the GA of Flandre. Where are you going, Shubin? You're all on your own.
Yeah, but you think that has to be game for Game Talents. 2 members dead. OQ, Crystal, 30 members dead in Flandre as well.
The execution, it's up to SOFM against SOFM and Zatai against 4 members of Game Talents. He's waiting in the back. It's now or never. He leaps forward, tries to get in, doing some damage. There's Zatai, gets burnt down. Standing still, Shubin could do enough damage to drop him. He turns onto the final Nexus turret as Shubin misses the execution, but will turn towards the Nexus and end the game. Game Talents take the series and win it 2-1 over Snake. Wow.
That was a game. And you look at the members of Snake there, every single one of them, they are heartbroken, and you have to be, because that game could have been anyone. It was a clashing style, side lanes versus this group up Protoss style, and get in there. And you know what? Brute Force ended up winning that in that game.
Yeah, the Death Ball ended up coming fully online. Carriers were teleported in. Mothership was in there as well. It was the whole 9 yards. And you can see the teams shaking hands. Game Talent's probably going to be feeling much happier about this now that they are not, in fact, tied for 4th, 5th, and 6th. But they do have another win under the belts. That puts them securely in 4th place, something we could not have imagined at the end of Week 3. Frosco, what do you think of it?
Woo! We did it! Pillage the village, run in, stack forward. We got it. I was a little bit frustrated with Shubin at the end of that game. Little Kog'Maw there was not a Juggernaut. He was a bit scared.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can understand the bubble PTSD into
Moment you get hit by one, you're like, never again.
He was literally bubbled into cast, into belly bopped, into tidal wave.
Yeah.
Yep.
As soon as 4 CCs.
Just the bounce house, bounce castle there. Went to the birthday party. Did not want to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't bring
Was
in a
forced
gift
into
for
the
it.
castle.
Play in the castle with your friends.
But that's fine, because in the end, they got him over the line.
They did.
Godgoon, the big Rumble player.
Yeah, absolutely enormous play. And Game Talents, I mean, we said it after Game 1. They had Snake figured out. I think the terrifying thing was Snake had Game Talents figured out as well.
I don't think Snake have themselves figured out, though. That's what's really concerning here. Again, they just kept going into these wonky compositions. They're difficult to execute on. You know, they took Flandre out of his split pushing potential. Gragas really has a power spike on kind of 2 items, and then he tried to play the sideways, but he's much more about that 5v5. Not that Flandre can't do a 5v5, but the rest of Snake can't do a 5v5, at least not as well as Game Talents can, and that's what came down to this game.
And you can see OQ on your screen looking absolutely defeated.
Oh, take the
by
camera
that.
off them, man.
That has got to be an emotional journey. Is that masking tape?
That is
He
indeed
needs to
masking
hold
time.
himself together as he prepares to load up and head home for the evening. Of course, Snake will be playing against Xiao Gu later this weekend, so they will get another opportunity to look for a win.
Yeah, but that's going to be even rougher if they're struggling against Game Talents. QG are like Game Talents on steroids.
Yeah.
They can fight, they can macro, they can beat you in the lane phase.
Chuck, you have a bit of problems, but like you can't take the scrappy nature of Game Talents. You're probably gonna have a bad time against that. Look at that.
Yeah, what is that Mordor doing there?
That is
The Eye of Sauron just kind of poking up at 36 minutes.
That's Savoki polymorphing you so you can't jump into Baron to steal it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a god.
What an
8.1k
amazing
doesn't... He flashed over the wall as SOFM looked to steal the Baron,
loved about that.
polymorphed him to deny the E,
Yeah,
and was
wow.
like,
What I loved about that was he flashed forward. I was like, wait a minute, what are you trying to do?
Why is he
And
there?
then he turned him to a little critter. And I was like, oh, nice.
It makes sense
I
now.
like that.
Seals can't leap over walls.
Yeah.
Today we learned.
Yeah.
But again, Game Talent's looking absolutely they look like they finally got it figured out. I mean, they're not trying to go for the super cultured, like, yes, we can macro and split push. They're just using Republic to bash down side lanes.
Yeah, what I liked about that is that they showcased they could do that in game 1. So when Republic went off, they could try and do that, and they were able to match Snake out quite nicely. They just seemed a lot more well-rounded. They can do pretty much anything they really set their mind to up against Snake. So towards being able to pick towards laners or pick priority. Because this time around they're saying, you know what, we're taking Rumble and Syndra first rotation, no counter pick. And they still won out well.
Yeah, it was a bit concerning that they didn't have as hard of engage as I would have liked. So again, going back towards that Rumble thing. But it worked out for them this time around because Snake, you know, we're also kind of keen to take the fight. But again, Gimgoon, time and time again, he understood his responsibility. We're starting the fight now. I'm going to hit a nice equalizer, and we're going in. Shubin, buckle up.
He was ready for that ride up until the very end.
Man, he wasn't ready for a lot of rides.
You're going to be whimsied. You're going to be rushed in. Ardent Sensor, like you said. You're going in, Kog'Maw.
Like, the moment the build started coming through, like Ardent Sensor, you look. I guess, Xiao, you took the win here.
No, I actually agree with this. So while I have highlighted Gimgoon a lot for his engage potential, when Gimgoon wasn't around to engage, it was this guy on your screen flashing forward, getting them on burrows.
Yeah. He was chasing SOFM everywhere. The moment he saw him, he would just try to force it.
This was a big one when Snake were getting Baron here, and he was able to get a 3-man knock-up into the Rumble ulti. This is fantastic. Oh, this is great to watch.
Yeah, and just face forward. And again, you know, Rek'Sai is super fringe in terms of jungle picks, but actually very effective for SOFM in particular. SOFM isn't going to really gank his lanes a lot. He's all about kind of jungle control and putting you down. And Rek'Sai is so good at, you know, scouting out where he is with her Tremor Sense, farming just as quickly as efficiently, using that cross-map neural network of tunnels, so able to keep up with SOFM and find those counter ganks when he does decide to open up into the lane. So while it's a weird fringe pick in the current ecosystem of jungle, I actually really like it against SOFM in particular.
Yeah, we saw how it worked, honestly, in the very beginning. The first game, you saw the Rek'Sai pick come out for SOFM and the Kha'Zix in the favor of Xiaoyu, and you see it just kind of get swapped over. And it was because the priorities got swapped over. You can see the adaptation where SOFM is starting to pick junglers, and then Xiaoyu just goes back into his priority and say, you know, I'll go to Rek'Sai. I've made this very comfortable pick for me. And he just went very tanky. It worked out for him, and it worked out for the composition.
Yeah, Game Talents had the idea set from the beginning. They were like, all right, we've got the Rumble, we've got Syndra winning lanes, we've got a Rek'Sai as well for mobility. And then it was looking really dicey when we were looking at the final 2 picks of like AD carry and support, but then you've got Snake who can sort of pick their own duo lane. Yeah. But they still got Lulu, and then they got Kog'Maw afterwards. You mentioned it, like they should take Kog'Maw here. Oh, I guess Lucian's good too. But then Game Talents got Kog'Maw, and they just waited.
It's a struggle because you gave away Lulu. That was just going to be the gamble in pick ban. And they were just saying, okay, if we pick Lulu Lucian, or at least pick Nami Lucian, it's going to be really good for us in terms of skirmishing power. And they picked for skirmishing because the game before, Thresh Lucian worked out really well for them.
Which keystone did Kog'Maw take again? Was it
Warlords?
Fervor?
Warlords, yeah.
Okay, so what's cool is we've seen this twice now. Caitlyn also took Warlords when paired with the Lulu because Battle of Fervor, your trade potential there, Lulu can actually compensate for because she gives you the help pick, so you can actually use Warlords more effectively for late game scaling because they don't itemize. Well, Kog'Maw does because he can build Blade of the Ruined King, but Caitlyn doesn't really itemize lifesteal that early on her rotation. So I actually like that adaptation that when you're with a Lulu, because you get help picks, you can go Warlords Bloodless because you don't need the added trade potential of Battle of Fervor.
Yeah.
Or Fervor of Battle.
There you go.
It's late.
It certainly is. But again, the fact that you mentioned that they were trying to prioritize those sorts of skirmishes with the Lucian Nami, I think that was something that we can talk about with OQ is that he is on the verge of greatness. Every once in a while you see him and you're like, yes, you can do it. You've got the damage, you've got the items, but then he just doesn't execute. And you can see that's really wearing on him. The fact that at that last team fight, he was there, he had the Nami, he just didn't get the outplay.
It doesn't have the team. That's the problem, is that OQ is just like that puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit into it. And it's nothing against OQ, and it's really nothing against Snake. They just need time to merge them together. Like, I have no doubt that one day this roster could be great. But this roster has really only been playing together in this current iteration for, what, 2 weeks? 3 weeks max?
Not very long.
And we're already seeing good coordination between Crystal and OQ, and it's just at the very early part of their relationship. It's already turning into a love show. I'm not gonna lie, but they're doing.
This is an interesting fan fiction you're weaving.
Yeah.
Well, do what you may, people. But they're doing very well in their lane.
Please don't.
I just like how they're really forming up well, and Crystal's been doing. If they had won that game, that would have been Crystal taking MVP. 100%, because his bubbles were incredibly impactful. That was like 3-4 times that he was able to get like crucial double bubbles.
Tidal wave.
Yeah, so that was great from him. Snake have a lot more time. They're really close up still in the standings. They may be 5th place, 4 and 5, or now 4 and 6. But it's still a tight race in Group A, as you can see here.
Yeah, as you said, this is Snake at 4 and 6. It's very close in Group A. The only team that's really clear-cut is RNG at 7 and 2.
Do I see something?
As 5 and 5 between 2 and 4. Frosco's excited.
Frost, what do you see here?
I think I see LGD.
What do your elf eyes see?
Slowly climbing up here. That's 2.
They've had 1 win in 2 weeks.
That's 2 Group A teams that lost tonight. I'm just saying, the path is opening up. The yellow brick road is being laid. Dorothy is no longer in Kansas. We're going home.
You got your dreams are gonna get crushed
Mate.
very heavily. You're gonna have a hard time.
I'm telling you, you have a great wig. I've already got it picked out for you. It's gonna look amazing with your attire.
It better be a Rick James-esque wig.
Just giant afro.
That's not
Huge.
The headset is like stretched out to here.
Just like straight Beyonce and like.
I'm telling you, Rick James has a
Glorious
flowing
locks.
black, hair. So I'm just putting the idea out there if I do lose.
But again, taking stock of the question that we raised at the beginning of the day, which of these 2 groups is better, Group A or Group B? It's getting closer. Group A is at 15 wins. Group B is now at 14. One match decides it. And tragically, 9 times 4, 36 matches of cross-conference play.
Yeah.
We've only got 7 more games of cross-conference play.
That was impressive math on the spot.
Thank you. Okay.
I'll give it to you. I'll tip you.
Yeah, we've only got 7 more games of cross-conference play, so soon we will know.
I wonder if they get a trophy. If the groups get a trophy for who wins this one.
Featured matchup tomorrow.
Yes, you should come back tomorrow for more League of Legends in our featured matchup.
It's our match of the week.
It's our match of the week.
There we go.
No, it's super important because we're talking about the cross groups, but unfortunately we had very disproportionate groups tonight. So it's about tomorrow is going to be RNG versus QG and EDG versus IMA. It's still very important because we're in cross conference, but these teams are much more equally weighted.
Yeah. Certainly going to be an exciting setup, so be sure to come back and check out those games. But I think that just about does it for us. Again, thank you guys so much for coming in today. On behalf of myself, my co-casters, my analyst, and the whole production crew, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, fam.